Would I be buying NDIS properties? Well, what makes an NDIS property attractive is the excessively high rental yields. And the reason I use the word excessively high rental yields is that standard real estate tends to go from, say, 3 to 7% in rental yields, depending on locations. Whereas in most cases, if you buy an NDIS property, you're probably looking at an average 18% rental yield. How is that possible? I'll tell you how that is possible. Because in 2024-2025, the NDIS government federal budget is between states and federal governments is approximately $44 billion. Investors are attracted to these high rental yield properties because it's the government that are paying for these investment properties that attract these high rental yields. So that is one primary factors investors are attracted to NDIS properties. But here are my concerns for an NDIS property. For example, in Melbourne, say if you're looking for a 280 square meter block of land, an NDIS property, depending on the location, can be around $750,000 to $800,000. However, if you purchased a standard residential 4-bedroom home, that same property would be maybe worth between $500,000 to $600,000. That means you are maybe overpaying $200,000 in my view to be able to get this specialized type of property that attracts the high rental yield. So on one part, as much as you believe you're getting high rental yields paid by the government that's funded by the taxpayer, on the other hand, didn't you just overpay maybe $200,000 in order to get this high rental yield? The second part that I'm very concerned about is that you are overpaying for a very specialized type of property that you could have just bought in a residential property. And as we know, when it comes to governments or any type of government that's ruling, legislation can and will change. And NDIS has been in the news recently for the amount of financial rorts that have been running within the NDIS scheme, where there is misuse and abuse of the NDIS scheme, which means the NDIS is under review, in which budgets are going to possibly be reducing and reducing further, which means your property that you purchased as an NDIS maybe, possibly, I can be wrong, possibly in the future might not be as attractive as it was today with those 18% rental yields. And what are you going to be doing then when it's time to sell that type of property? Because it's a specialized type of property that's not suited for the everyday home buyer, yet you overpaid for that property in the beginning, and you might now even be getting less because it's a small rental yield with a specific design. Do we look for NDIS properties for our clients? If our clients are specific, and here at DDP, we work for our clients, we outline the risks that I just outlined, and if that's what they want to do, of course, we will source an NDIS property. But I do have my reservations. One, it's the high rental yield that's backed by a government budget that's funded by taxpayers that's now being rorted, and that maybe you're overpaying for a very specialized type of house when you could have maybe considered a normal standard residential investment.